Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Memento, and welcome back to another Warframe video. This time we're going to take a look at the Ballistica Prime and continue on with Hydroid Prime and his weapons. So, let's get right into it. Now, as always, I like to take a look at the aesthetics of a weapon, because to a lot of people, fashion frame is the true endgame, and the looks of a weapon, to them, might be more important than, say, the actual stats of it. So, let's get right into it. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the weapon looks pretty damn awesome. It's a primed weapon, so of course, it's gonna look elegant, it's gonna look sleek, it's gonna look ornate, and this weapon definitely screams all three. It's covered in gold, it's really just nice looking, the color scheme is great. It looks very powerful, it looks like it can rip up enemies and do a massive amount of damage. However, it looks a little comical in terms of the front of the weapon. There's 4 prongs at the front. I don't know if those are like the receivers for the arrows, where the arrows fire from, but I'm not entirely sure. But overall, it's pretty awesome looking. But enough about that. I like to talk about the stats because I care about the stats. Now, if you're going to compare the 3 variants of the Ballistica, the Standard to the Prime to the Rakta, the Ballistica Prime is just basically a full-on upgrade to the Standard version. So there's no real point in talking about that. The standard version is just going to get better if you get the Prime treatment, so of course the Prime version is just going to be much better. The real importance lies in choosing between the Rakta Ballistica versus the Ballistica Prime, because it's more of a side grade, you're trading off a lot more, you're losing some perks and you're gaining some new perks, so we're going to talk about that. The Ballistica Prime compared to the Rakta Ballistica, you're getting lower base damage, lower impact and lower puncture, but you're getting higher slash. The higher slash doesn't matter too much because the weapon is still primarily puncture. However, the balance has shifted a lot towards the slash. You are getting lower charge attack damage, but you're getting faster charge time, higher critical damage multiplier, higher status chance, a larger magazine, faster reload speed. All of those things are really nice perks, but you are losing that innate blight effect, which really hurts because that proc of viral and a quick burst of energy on that syndicate proc is just really, really nice, and can be the tipping point for some people because not everyone has, say, Arcane Energize or that focus skill. I'm not sure which focus tree it is, or the one that helps you with energy recovery. So not everyone has that. And they might need it, especially on energy-hungry frames, and you might want to take the Rakta Ballistica over the Ballistica Prime. You are getting some different polarities. You're getting a dash and 2 Vs over a D and a V on the Rakta Ballistica. You're getting a dash and 2 Vs on the Prime version, and honestly, I would take a dash and an extra V over a D polarity any day, because D polarities are kind of weak, especially on pistols. Now, this is a Mastery Rank 7 weapon, so you're only having to get 1 more Mastery Rank to use this over the Rakta version. However, you're going to need 4 more Mastery Ranks, or actually no, 5 more Mastery Ranks to use the Prime version over the Standard version. So this weapon is definitely worth it, however, to grind up to MR7 and get a pretty awesome weapon with some quite unique abilities, which I will get into right now. Now, as you've noticed probably, or you may know, this weapon spawns ghosts that fight for you and their allies. So, on a charge kill, you kill an enemy with a fully charged shot of your Prime's Ballistica. You are gonna spawn a ghost that lives for 7 seconds and then dies off. Now, this is a really, really nice ability, and is basically pseudo crowd control. You can fire into a crowd of enemies, turn a few of them into allied ghosts, and they can draw aggro from you, and it's really useful, especially if you need to escape from tight situations and you don't have any energy left and you need to escape, say, to revive a teammate. And it is quite useful, and I do love crowd control, so that's why I really adore this ability, and I just think it's overall very awesome. It almost reminds me of like the Flying Dutchman, because Hydroid Prime is a pirate, and this thing's ghostly. I mean, the Flying Dutchman is a ghost pirate, and this isn't exactly a ghost pirate, but yeah, you can understand what I mean. But there are a lot of quirks that come with this ability, and I'll go over a few right now. So the firing mechanics aren't exactly the same as, say, the Rakta version. It's more like a bow, such as the Paris Prime. You could fire a weaker uncharged shot, or you can charge up a more powerful shot. Charged shots on the Ballistica Prime deal double damage compared to the uncharged versions, and it gains some punch through, which is really nice. Punch through is very important because punch through again acts as a small form of crowd control and is really nice. Every charged shot or uncharged shot costs 4 ammo and fires 4 projectiles. So there you go. In each projectile, I believe, benefits from the split shot or multi-shot. So that's really nice as well, especially if you run Lethal Torrent and Barrel Diffusion. I'm not entirely sure if those were the right mods. I can't remember right now, but yeah. The enemies must be within 50 meters of you for the effect to take place. So you can't really snipe from super far distances and have the ghost ability come into effect. So you need to be within 50 meters of it to take place. However, you should be using this weapon at not at long range. You should be using it as a more close range weapon, close to mid range. Enemies that die to a gas effect caused by the charge shots will leave a ghost behind. So it's a really nice thing. You can mod your Ballistica Prime for gas and get a nice bomb that basically turns a nice small group of enemies into ghosts, which is pretty awesome. And the same thing goes for Nova's Molecular Prime effect. Say Nova casts Molecular Prime, and you have a group of enemies that are now affected by it, and you kill one of them with a charge shot. Then the explosion kills the rest of the enemies in that group. All of those nearby enemies will become ghosts as well, which is super awesome, and I didn't actually know that. So it's pretty cool, and you can go ahead and test it out for yourself, and it's really awesome just to have a nice little army of ghosts pop up out of nowhere. Ghosts do not block bullets, so that's pretty nice. It's nice to know, so that way you can't use them as meat shields. If multiple enemies are killed with the same charge shot, because of the punch through effect, they will become ghosts as well. So it's really nice to line them up in a hallway and boom, get like 4 ghosts in a gigantic crowd, and they're drawing aggro and helping to protect you. Now, of course, not every enemy can turn into ghosts. The Bursas and Stalker himself will not become ghosts if you kill him with this effect. And could you really blame it? I mean, that would be a little overpowered to have a Stalker ghost survive, even though it is only for 7 seconds. Eximus enemies killed by a charge shot will become ghosts, however they will lose their Eximus status. Now this is something that bothers me. I believe that they should retain that Eximus status because it's only lasts for 7 seconds. It's not a really long time that they would be alive to help you out. Lastly, if an enemy that spawns minions, Hayeka Master for example, you kill them with a charge shot, their ghost will be able to spawn friendly beasts to help you out, but those beasts will die along with their master once his timer expires. And pretty much that's about it. This weapon is really cool, there's a lot of quirks to it, and it's just overall a really pleasing weapon to use, a very satisfying one. So, it's time to get into the builds, which are the most important thing in my opinion. So, all of my builds basically utilize 5 mods. It utilizes Target Cracker, or the Prime variant, along with Pistol Gamut, or the Prime variant, and then Hornet Strike, Barrel Diffusion, and Lethal Torrent. I also actually use Jolt on all of my builds as well. However, if you do not have Jolt, it is necessary, and you can basically have 3 flex slots that are available to be used for any elemental combos that you want, or any other special mods that you want if you want to mess around with something like a puncture mod or something else. So basically, build number 1 uses Jolt and Pistol Pestilence for corrosive status chance, and then we have Prime Heated Charge for just a strong dose of heat damage. Now this build is kind of iffy to me. I did it because I thought Prime Heated Charge would do some work, but it kind of feels like underwhelming in my opinion. It doesn't really perform as well as I thought it would. So use this build if you want to. I kind of just did it because I want to be able to be like, I use 3 primed mods for my pistols. So it's just for bragging rights pretty much. It makes like no sense. Unless you're fighting, say, Infested, then the fire damage may help more. The second build basically swaps out that Prime T to charge for a third elemental status mod, Scorch. I chose Scorch, and I think this is a little bit better because status chance will get you more procs, and I think more procs are important than just the raw damage from Prime T to charge. And the last build, you're still using Jolt, however we're using Convulsion and Pathogen rounds, and we're just putting tons of corrosive damage on it, and that is my personal favorite weapon. It killed a Corrupted Heavy Gunner really quickly. The fastest out of the 3 builds, it was the fastest to kill. And overall, I think that's the build that you should use, especially if you're on a budget and say you don't have all of the elemental status chance mods or Prime T to charge. I think this is definitely the best build and the right way to go. So, overall, the weapon is very fun, it has a very unique ability, and it has enough damage to make it worthy of being called one of the better sidearms, if not one of, like, say, the top 15 sidearms in the game. Pseudo crowd control is always nice, and it really fits the package with Hydroid Prime, since he is all about crowd control in my opinion. Well, maybe not. All of his abilities have some form of crowd control, and this just acts as another pseudo or soft form of crowd control. It's not a hard crowd control, but it definitely helps. It's just really useful in those sticky situations. It has good damage. It can hold its own against stronger opposition. It's not a weak weapon by any means. However, I don't really think it can contend with, say, the Ox Stiletto Prime, which are my absolute favorite weapon. Primed weapon, Prime secondary, and my favorite secondary in general. But this thing definitely deserves more respect. And if you compare it to the Rakta Ballistica, which I might do another video just based on that, just to get a comparison between the two and go more in depth, you're basically just comparing ghosts versus blight. If you need more crowd control, or if you want to just have something a little fresh to play with, I take the ghosts. If you need energy and you can benefit from bioprocs, I would say go with the Rakta version with the blight effect. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. That's the end of the video. I will be coming out with the Ballistica Prime video pretty soon. And until next time, my name is Memento, and I will see you guys later.